remain standing for the invocation.
I declare the convocation open.
Thank you, sir. I now request Chairman Academic Senate, Professor N. Satyamurthy, to award the degrees. Yeah. Please step up to the stage as your names are called. We will start with PhD degrees. PhD graduates of 2013 are Amrita Kumari. Miss Amrita Kumari wrote a thesis on structure and dynamics of nanomaterial and biomolecules, insight from NMR spectroscopy, under the guidance of Dr. Kavita Dorai. Shalini Gupta. Miss Shalini Gupta wrote a thesis on the structure of semi-simple finite metabillion group algebras under the guidance of Professor IBS Pasi and Dr. Gurmeet Kaur Bakshi. Bodhisatta Nandi. Mr. Bodhisatta Nandi wrote a thesis on Of War and Love, a study of sexual conflicts and sexual selection using Drosophila melanogaster laboratory system under the guidance of Dr. N.G. Prasad. Now we come to BSMS graduates. BSMS graduates of 2013 are Abhilasha Joshi, Abhishek Goswami, Amit Kumar, Ankit Kumar, Anshu Gupta, Anush Shukla, Arshdeep Singh, दीपांश श्रीवास्तव, गादे विनय कृष्ण, गगनप्रीत सिंह, गौरव कुमार, हिमांशु सचान, कपिल दवे, करिश्मा भासने, कस्तूरी बनर्जी, केशव अग्रवाल, मनीष पारेख, मनमीत सिंह, मेहरीन खलील, निखिल कुमार, नीलमणि सिंह, नीतीश शर्मा, नीतीश दयाल, शिवम भारद्वाज, सुमित मित्तल, विकेश सिद्धू, and Vinod Kumar. Yeah. Thank you, sir. May I request the chairman, Board of Governors, Professor K.K. Talwar, to give his accord to the award of degrees by signing the register of degree awardees of IISER Mohali. The graduating class of 2013 will all now rise. Let us congratulate all the graduates of 2013. Give them a big applause. I now request the Chairman, Academic Senate, Professor N. Satyamurthy, to deliver his exhortation to the class of 2013.
Remember that your knowledge and intellectual attainment is the most sacred wealth of the nation. You shall, therefore, use it in a manner befitting the honor and dignity of your country and of your alma mater. You shall make every effort in all circumstances to uphold the dignity of your profession and integrity of your character. You shall endeavor in every way, through thought, word, and action, to bring about the well-being of the people. You must live a well-disciplined life. Never forget the commandment of the sacred scriptures, thou shalt perform deeds that are commendable and no others.
You may now take your seats. May I request the Chairman, Board of Governors, Professor K.K. Talwar, to present the special awards for graduates of 2013. Mr. Keshav Agrawal is awarded the President's Gold Medal for the best academic performance in the class of 2013. Ms. Abhilasha Joshi is awarded the Professor S.N. Kaul Medal for the best all-round performance in the class of 2013. Mr. Kapil Dave receives the certificate for the best academic performance among chemistry majors in the class of 2013. Mr. Vikesh Sidhu receives the certificate for the best academic performance among physics majors in the class of 2013. Ms. Abhilasha Joshi receives the certificate for the best academic performance among biology majors in the class of 2013. And Mr. Keshav Agrawal receives the certificate for the best academic performance among mathematics majors in the class of 2013. Thank you, sir. I now request our director, Professor N. Satyamurthy, to present the report of the institute.
Professor Ramarao, the founder chairman, IISER Mohali, Professor K.K. Talwar, the present chairman, IISER Mohali, Dr. Bapaya, members of the board and members of the Senate, colleagues, graduates of 2013, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to stand in front of you to present the director's report. The Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research started functioning in its transit campus in MG-SIPA complex, Sector 26, Chandigarh, in June 2007. Thanks to the Punjab government, which provided the interim facility, the first class for the first batch of BSMS students was held on August 16, 2007. We have come a long way since then. The Punjab government was generous enough to allot 125 acres of land in the Knowledge City in Sector 81, SAS Nagar, where our campus is located now. The groundbreaking ceremony took place on December 29, 2008. The Central Analytical Facility was formally inaugurated by the founder chairman, Professor P. Ramarao, on March 3, 2010, more than 3 years ago. We are delighted to have Professor Ramarao as the chief guest today. Initially, the students of IISER Mohali were accommodated in the NITTER campus and in MG-SIPA complex, Chandigarh. the first set of students had to go through a lot of inconvenience. But today we have our own campus. One of the students of the graduating batch was telling Professor Ramarao that he has shifted hostel 7 times. The first batch of students moved into Hostel 5 on December 3, 2010, and Hostel 7 was inaugurated on January 26, 2011. That was the 7th time he was changing room, I guess. The director and a few faculty members started living in the campus in December 2010. I'm happy to declare that we have vacated the transit campus about 2 weeks ago. We are in the process of consolidation in our new campus. We have a fully functional lecture hall complex and an academic block, and all the teaching takes place in the permanent campus. Those of you who have not moved into a new campus would not understand the significance of these statements. The first and the second batch of students who came and joined us when there was nothing, and their parents, they would understand the significance of these steps. The faculty members, along with the student community comprising the BSMS, PhD and integrated PhD, carry out the research in Academic Block 1. Academic Block 2 is coming up, and so is the Informatics Center. The latter will house the computing facility, the textbook library, and the e-library of the campus. 2 new hostels are coming up to accommodate the students who will join us in July 2013, and the visitors hostel is expected to be ready by July 2013. It was a historic moment when the first convocation of IISER Mohali took place on July 25, 2012, 10 months ago. The then Honorable Minister for Human Resource Development, Shri Kapil Sibal, was the chief guest. Professor C.N.R. Rao, Honorary President, Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, Bangalore, was the guest of honor. It was the privilege of the institute to confer the Doctor of Philosophy honoris causa degree on Professor C.N.R. Rao. It was a moment of immense pride and joy to see the first batch of 26 students graduating with the BSMS degree last July. They were boys and girls when they joined the institute in 2007. Both students and parents placed their trust in us. We had nothing to show them but dreams and promises. The boys and girls grew up to become young men and women during the 5 years they spent at IISER Mohali. Today, several of them are pursuing their PhD studies in India and abroad. Some of them have chosen to learn business administration. Some of them are working in industry, and some of them are aspiring to become administrators. The institute did not wait for the buildings to come up. Right from the beginning, it set up the state-of-the-art research facilities. There was no road, no electricity, and no water when we started. Today we have all of them. We are committed to keep the campus green and beautiful. We have a distributed network of sewage treatment plants, water from which is used in greening the campus. We have tried hard to save every single tree in the campus, and we are proud of the flora and fauna that we have inherited. We are committed to harvest solar energy. Hot water in most of the residences and in the hostels comes from solar heating, and the street lights are powered by solar energy. During the daytime, the lights and fans in Academic Block 1 are on thanks to the sun. From a single research publication in 2007, the number of publications from IISER Mohali has crossed 100 per year. The faculty and students of IISER Mohali have published more than 200 research papers and 4 books in the last 5 years. We have a handful of patents too. What is special about the output from IISER Mohali is that many research publications are co-authored by our undergraduates. Many BSMS students from IISER Mohali publish at least one research paper by the time they graduate. We have been able to attract bright young people to our PhD program. There are more than 150 students registered for the PhD program. The majority of them bring their own funds in the form of fellowship from UGC CSIR. The faculty have brought a large number of sponsored projects. The total amount of fund received from sponsored projects is of the order of 330 crores. 4 of our colleagues are recipients of DBT Welcome Research Grants. Several of them receive Ramanujan, Ramalinga Swami, or DAE fellowships. We at IISER Mohali are committed to quality teaching at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels. The BSMS students go through 2 years of core program where they learn all the basic science subjects, including earth and environmental sciences. They take courses in communication skills, computer programming, electronics and workshop, and history and philosophy of science. They concentrate on their major subjects during 3rd and 4th year of their stay, and finally, they spend almost a year doing research in the 5th year. During every summer of their studies at IISER Mohali, the students carry out research projects either in-house or in other educational institutes. Admission to IISER Mohali is highly competitive. Students having KVPY scholarship are admitted directly. Students clearing the joint entrance exam of IITs are admitted on the basis of their rank. The cream of the nation, which comes at the top of 1% of each board, central or state, is eligible for admission to the IISERs. All the BSMS students of IISER Mohali receive either the KVPY scholarship or the scholarship under the Inspire scheme of the Government of India. IISER provides scholarship for those PhD students who do not have their own funds. The integrated PhD students who join us after their bachelor's degree from other institutes also receive financial support. We have been able to attract excellent faculty members from India and abroad. Their quality is reflected in the fact that many of them received several offers, but they chose to join us. The quality of their research is reflected in their publications in top peer-reviewed journals. Some of the work done at IISER Mohali has appeared in prestigious journals like Science. One appeared in the month of May, and one, early part of May, and one appeared just last week. The Earth and Environment completely focuses on the environment. Our blue eye in the sky monitors the pollution level continuously 24/7. Our colleagues have been able to establish the high level of aromatic hydrocarbons arising from post-harvest burning. Our colleagues are committed to synthesizing biomolecules that have anti-malarial activity. The frontline research conducted at IISER Mohali includes probing into the properties of materials at the nano level and also at low temperatures. Spectroscopic tools are used to probe the structure and dynamics of molecules and biomolecules, while one of our colleagues attempts to unravel the fibril formation that may hold the key to understanding Alzheimer's disease. Another engages in developing liquid crystals that can serve many purposes. The faculty and students of IISER Mohali are constantly innovating, and they come up with new techniques, be it for detecting trace amounts of acetone in biodiesel or in understanding the sexual conflict in Drosophila, a model system in developmental biology. Science is global and its standards are international. Therefore, it is important for our students and the faculty to stay connected with the rest of the world. Both faculty and students present their research work at international fora. Under the present chairman's leadership, we have committed to provide adequate financial support for them to participate in international conferences. Also, our undergraduates are able to get training at the international level. Some of them have been awarded Har Gobind Singh Khurana Fellowship to work in American universities and DART Fellowships to work in German laboratories. Some of them were selected to attend the prestigious Lindau program and also the Heidelberg Forum. We have a student exchange program with St. Andrews in Scotland. Our colleagues have got Max Planck Partner Group projects, and we plan to collaborate with some more Max Planck institutes. Of the 17 or 18 Max Planck Partner Groups, the 5 IISERs, the total of 17 or 18 in the country, of that, about 12 of them are in 5 IISERs. The process of building an institute like IISER depends on the unflinching support from the state and central governments. We have been singularly lucky in getting continual support from the Punjab government through the Chief Secretaries, Sri R.I. Singh, Sri S.C. Agarwal, and Sri Rakesh Singh over the years. The former and present ministers and secretaries at MHRD have offered unwavering assistance. On this felicitous occasion, I extend my gratitude to all my colleagues at IISER Mohali for making the institute what it is today. I am particularly grateful to the founder chairman, Professor P. Ramarao, his successor, Dr. Mashelkar, and our present chairman, Professor K.K. Talwar, for their guidance and support. Jai Hind.
May I now request our chairman, Board of Governors, Professor K.K. Talwar, to address the gathering and introduce the chief guest, Professor P. Ramarao.
Esteemed Professor Ramarao, Professor Satyamurthy, the Director of the institution, members of the Board of Governors, members of the Senate and the faculty members, dear students, friends. It is indeed a pleasure and privilege to be as Chairman, Board of Governors, to preside over the convocation of such an academic institution. Since you have already heard from the Director about the genesis and the growth of this great institution, which I think in the last 6 years achieved, which is something which is gives credit to the faculty as well as to the Director. I will like to be brief because of the paucity of time. Combining education and research is important for the growth of knowledge. I'm happy to see that the undergraduate education is combined here with research in the formative years of the young minds in IISER Mohali. I'm also happy to learn that the PhD students in IISER Mohali do a certain amount of coursework before they undertake research in frontier years. I learned yesterday that all the three, this is the first PhDs graduation from the institution, and all of them have completed their PhD in less than 5 years, which is highly creditable. I'm also delighted that IISER Mohali is committed to an interdisciplinary approach to its pursuit of science. I think I'm a medical professional, but I think that is the basic sciences institutions as well as other clinical science institutions has to combine together, I think, to growth of science. As a medical professional, I'll say that we in the country have achieved enormous professional medical skills that the country can be proud of, sort of all kind of professional skills, but where we have lacked, that we have not, in the medical research, we have still not contributed that way. And that's how I feel that I think these institutions can try to inculcate that culture of medical research in those setups. And this has been, when I was working in these two institutions, AIIMS and PGI, we have been trying to see how we can develop collaboration with IITs in Delhi or some of the institutions here. I'm sure IISER will take a lead because the mentioning of Alzheimer's disease, last time when I visited, I saw one of your colleagues sort of the amyloid issue. I mean, these are some of the clinical ailments where we don't have clear answer, and I think that's where we need to sort of develop more collaborative programs. I understand from the Director that the students of the BS/MS program are selected through different channels, but most important criterion in all of them is merit. Within 6 years of establishment, the institute has been able to attract a number of outstanding faculty members from all over the world. That shows the leadership quality of the Director and those who were the original founder of this. They have been able to set up their labs and they have started publishing in premier journals. Yesterday, I received a copy of the Compendium of Publication from IISER Mohali in the last 5 years, and which Director mentioned that they have now more than 100 publications. I am happy to see that the institute is poised for further growth under the leadership of the dynamic Director. I'm also really impressed by the outreach, I think during one of our discussion with the faculty learning about the outreach program of the Institute to popularize science in school children. I congratulate the faculty for this program, and there is a dire need to popularize science to young minds today to attract them to science. I think this is always felt that this region is the science probably is not more popular in this region. I think it is I'm sure the institute will try to make efforts to prime the young minds into the field of science. I also take this opportunity to congratulate all those who are received degrees today and awards today. This is an occasion of celebrations for all of you and pride for you, your teachers, and your parents who have helped you to shape your careers. May God bless you all with wisdom and strength to pursue your academic dreams and other endeavors. I am delighted that the founder chairman of Professor Ramarao has kindly agreed to the chief guest on this occasion and address the graduates. I am sure, sir, for you, it must be a great feeling that when this was you must have visioned how this thing should come up, and now seeing the development, it must be a feeling of satisfaction in your mind. It is, I think this audience doesn't need introduction for Professor Ramarao, but it's customary to say a few words. Professor Ramarao has had a distinguished academic career. He started off as a physicist and pursued PhD in physics metallurgy. He was the director of Defense Metallurgical Research Laboratory, Hyderabad, and secretary to the Government of India, Department of Science and Technology. He also had the charge as the secretary, Department of Ocean Development. He served as the chairman, Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, and as vice chancellor, University of Hyderabad. Presently, he is the chairman of the governing council of ARCI, Hyderabad. Professor Ramarao has over 240 research publications to his credit. His contribution in the field of metallurgy has been duly recognized by his peers in the form of the Award of Fellowship of Indian Academy of Sciences, Indian National Science Academy, and the Third World Academy of Sciences. Recently, he was elected Foreign Associate of the USA National Academy of Engineering. He has been the President of the Indian Academy of Sciences, General President, Indian Science Congress Association, President of Indian Institute of Metals, and so on. Professor Ramarao has contributed to the setting up of several institutions. I think it will be difficult for me to list one of them, but IISER Mohali is fortunate that he was one of the founders. Professor Ramarao has received the prestigious Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize and the Platinum Medal of the Indian Institute of Metals. The Union Minister of Steel gave him the honor of National Metallurgist. The President of India has honored him with Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Vibhushan. I am not mentioning several other laurels and recognition that Professor Ramarao has received for paucity of time, to be sort of taking all the time of the convocation. I would like to only mention that he is a role model for our graduates to emulate, to achieve excellence, yet remain humble. On behalf of all of us, the IISER family, and my own, I express our deep gratitude to you, sir, for gracing the occasion as the chief guest today. May I now invite you, sir, to address the graduates. We are all looking forward to your words of wisdom. Thank you so much.
It's on?
It's on.
Respected Chairman and members of the Board of Governors of IISER Mohali, esteemed Director, Deans and members of the faculties, graduates of the year, ladies and gentlemen. I consider it a great privilege to have been asked to deliver the second convocation address of Indian Institute of Science, Education, Research, IISER for short, Mohali, which is very clearly an emerging center of academic excellence committed primarily to teaching and research in sciences. I feel grateful to the authorities of the Institute for the honor done to me by this invitation. I also feel very grateful to the Chairman, Board of Governors for his very warm introduction. Convocations traditionally are a solemn occasion, imbued with a sense of dignity and decorum, as well as accomplishment and aspiration. To be a part of such an occasion is an inspiring experience for all of us gathered here. Let me at the outset offer my many congratulations to every one of you graduating today, to everyone who has made a further mark by winning prizes, to all your families who have supported you, and all your teachers and mentors who have trained and nurtured you during this important stage of your professional life. The central message that I wish to convey to you in this brief address, let me emphasize brief address. I'm not going to be very long in speaking today, and I know you are not interested in listening to long speeches. But the central message that I want to convey is A, you are among the most fortunate of your age group in India to reap the benefit of higher education. And B, that you are going out into a world replete with opportunities like never before. Why should you consider yourself so fortunate? For nearly 50 years prior to Indian independence, that is between the years 1900 to 1947, there is practically no growth in enrollment into higher education. In fact, I have drawn a plot of the number enrolled per unit of population as a function of the year, all the way from 1900 to the present day, more than 1 century. And the curve is flat till 1950. Growth occurred rapidly, largely due to government's benevolent support, and more recently, owing to private sector investment. As a result, at the present time, about 26 million are enrolled into higher education annually in our country. This number represents the second largest in the world, next only to that of China. Even so, it is important to note that the number of enrollments amounts to less than 18% of the youngsters in the eligible age group, that is between 18 and 24 years. As such, over 80% of those who are eligible age-wise are left out of higher education in our country, even as the 21st century has dawned. This is the reason why I stated that you are among the fortunate few who have had the glorious advantage of learning at an institute of higher education, actually an institute of national importance, so categorized by an act of parliament. What should this advantage signify for you graduates? It signifies that you shoulder an onerous responsibility to make the most of your blessing and bring laurels to yourselves and fame to your institute, as the distinguished director exhorted you, your alma mater, in the way you develop yourself, in the way you conduct yourself, in the way you perform in the coming years and in the future years. What about India and the world that you are about to enter? About 3.5 centuries ago, when Europe transformed from a largely agriculture-based economy, India was under foreign rule by the Europeans. The people of our country did not derive the benefits of industrialization. Indeed, the country was a hapless witness to the rise of Western power, influence, and prosperity. Times have changed. The world is now transitioning through a knowledge revolution from industrial economy to a knowledge economy. The changing scenario is associated with the globalization of economies and integration of research and development across nations. At this juncture, India is an independent nation, independent sovereign nation. India is well poised to contend with the new challenges as they are of a kind that suits India's distinctive genius. The nature of products of immeasurable worth is now knowledge-based, requiring minimal capital, unlike the conventional manufactured products. There is a related aspect relevant to India, as well as all of you, which is noteworthy. By 2050, the percentage of the population, the working age group, which is 15 to 59 years, in India will be 61%, and the actual number is estimated to be nearly 900 million. This awesome pool, growing at the rate of 12 million a year, will be before long the largest in the world and will account for over 18%, nearly 19% of the world's working age population. Putting it in another way, one in every six persons in the global workforce will be an Indian. The grand challenge for India, therefore, is to build skills in this colossal pool of able-bodied individuals, numbering over 850 million, nearly 3 times the population of the United States of America. If we are able to achieve the goal of building ordinary, even ordinary, as well as extraordinary skills in good measure among the potentially able working population, we can then visualize India as one among the most powerful and prosperous nations in the world. This is where India's comparative advantage lies. In fact, nowhere else. The economist tells us that the nation's GDP, everybody talks about GDP, is a very simple number. The gross domestic product is a product of the number of persons of the population of the country and its per capita income. What does the per capita income depend upon? It depends upon 3 resources: investment resource, material resource, and human resource. Since India's human resource potentially will be huge in the next 3 to 4 decades, so also India's economic wealth, India's GDP, can be among the highest in the world, can be. But please note, human resource means not just the number of people, but the number of knowledgeable and skilled persons. This fact, therefore, offers each one of you the greatest prospect and should provide you the most powerful motivation to build in yourself whatever specialty skills towards which your own personality is inclined. In order to acquire advanced specialist skills, you can look anywhere in the world, not just India. In this context, it's anticipated that given the unprecedented demographic dividend, 25% of all of the world's graduate schools can be taken by Indians. But then, what has been your preparation at IISER Mohali, which is dedicated to education and research in sciences? There is a misplaced notion that science does not provide immediate employment. On the other hand, engineering and technology, perhaps management training does. On this important occasion of your graduation, I need to dispel this notion and impress upon you that there can be no better training than training in fundamental science. It is indeed the pure science that forms the bedrock of any industrial technology, which in turn contributes to economic growth. I can give you any number of examples to illustrate that science precedes and underlies technology. Remember that Albert Einstein derived the famous formula E is equal to mc squared in 1905, when neither nucleus, which was discovered in 1911, nor the neutron, which was discovered in 1932, nor fission, which was uncovered in the year 1938, were known. It's only subsequent to these discoveries that the Manhattan Project was successfully executed in 1945. Thereafter, nuclear power plants have come to be set up all over the world, which nearly number 440 in the world, which together generate nearly 15% of the electricity produced in the world. It's the same story which, whether it is the global positioning system or the optical fiber communication, the two ubiquitous tools that have enlivened 21st century living. In the words of noted Canadian physicist Clifford Will, I quote, "The next time your plane approaches an airport in bad weather and we just happen to be wondering what good is basic science, think about Albert Einstein and the GPS tracker in the cockpit, guiding you to safe landing." The small GPS gadgets have evolved with time from research carried out in 1950s at the Naval Research Laboratory, United States, whose basis indeed goes back to the discovery in 1930 by Professor Rabi of atomic beam magnetic resonance to measure natural frequencies of atoms. That's how the atomic clock and so on. In a similar way, the foundation of communication technologies, which has transformed the world of communication between individuals, between cities, and between nations, is the discovery that fiberglass needs to be purified, as simple as that, needs to be purified in order for the light to travel long lengths of fiber without losing power. So friends, no matter what societal technology we have often taken for granted, or what technology we sometimes marvel at, their origin is work in science. IISER has given you a strong foundation in such a discipline, which is bound to stand all of you in good stead in the years to come. Note that in the ultimate analysis, not economy, not anything else, it is the quality of education that determines the kind of professional that you will develop into. The challenge before IISER Mohali, based on my own association with IISER Mohali during the Institute's first 3 years, as well as based on the literature given to me by your distinguished director, Professor N. Satyamurthy, it is clear that IISER Mohali has come up remarkably well in the last 6 years, starting on a greenfield site, literally from scratch, literally from nothing. A number of distinguished faculty members and substantial teaching and research equipment are in place, as well as several research projects have been sponsored, providing for the Institute an impressive sum of rupees 30 crore. It's remarkable that the output of research publications amount to more than 5 per faculty. Director read a report, very impressive report. And PhDs are being generated starting with 3 this year. The director, Professor Satyamurthy, and all those of you who are associated with this institute deserve our many congratulations for so much that you've accomplished in so little a time. But then what should be the grand challenge that you must plan to meet in the coming years? A few months ago, I came across a report in the Times of India that Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, India's premier research university, has moved up from 134 to 35th place in the Global Employability Ranking 2012. This is not the kind of ranking that people normally look at. This is employability ranking. This is indeed laudable progress, considering that the list includes world-leading universities such as Harvard, Yale, Cambridge, Princeton, what have you, and other such top institutions. University of Science found a place in that eminent list because IISc imparted to its students research and advanced skills. This then is the path IISER Mohali and its graduates have since begun to traverse. Given its head start, IISER Mohali must aim in the coming years at nothing less than to find a place among the globally employability ranking list of the world's best universities. For this to be achieved, one must remember what Henry Longfellow, the celebrated poet, said many, many decades ago. I quote, "Heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept or played on the smartphones, were toiling upward in the night." In conclusion, while wishing you the best, let me quote in conclusion something which I like, this passage very much. But this is from Professor R. Radhakrishnan of the University of California, a social scientist. I quote, "Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru declared to the world from the ramparts of the Red Fort that India had successfully kept its tryst with destiny. If that declaration announced the birth of a new nation, both to itself and to the world, 6.5 decades later, India is experiencing yet another rebirth as it aligns itself both with its own internal pulse and the rhythms of a globalized world economy. The above passage defines the space you are moving into as you new graduates go out of the portals of this institute. Good luck and thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request our Director, Professor N. Satyamurthy, to present a memento to our Chief Guest, Professor P. Ramarao. I now request our Director, Professor N. Satyamurthy, to present a memento to our Chairman, Board of Governors, Professor K.K. Talwar. Thank you, sir. May I now request our Chairman, Board of Governors, Professor K.K. Talwar, to declare the convocation closed.
I declare the convocation closed.
Okay, all rise for the national anthem. Please all rise for the national anthem.
ऑन है स्टेज।
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग। तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे